Okay, last class we have introduced optoelectronic devices. We have seen how the photons interact with the semiconductor. Here we have a couple of examples. You can see here the N-type semiconductor. Uh, Photons are these are the light energy which contains the small particles called as photons. They are interacting with this N-type semiconductor. And what changes you can observe in this after photons get interact with this N-type semiconductor or photons interacting with P-type semiconductor. What changes you would like to see within the semiconductor when photons are made to fall on this N-type semiconductor? Naturally, here in N-type semiconductor, what is going to happen is a mechanism called as electron hole pairing process. Hope you already aware what do you mean by electron hole pairing process. So, suppose if you have a in energy band diagram, we have seen that. So, we have the upper level is conduction band energy level, and the bottom one is the valence band energy level. The distance between them is forbidden gap. Let me call this distance as EG, forbidden energy gap. Now we are making these photons to interact with this instead of extra potential. Now we are allowing photons to interact with the semiconductor. Now what happens? The electrons which are present here, these are, let me assume that this represents electrons. So they get excited because whenever the photons interact with these electrons, they acquire energy from the photons and they get excited, and they keep moving to the conduction band. You can see electrons here in the conduction band. Okay. Similarly, you can see holes because whenever electron leaves the valence band, and so this is the direction of the electrons keep moving whenever the photons, these are the photons. Okay, so these are photons. Okay, so photons, when they are interacting with the semiconductor, electrons get acquire energy from the photons and they move into the conduction band, and they leave empty spaces here. So these are called as holes. Okay, for every electron that you are seeing here, so there is an hole here, pair here. Okay, so that's why these pairs are called as EHP, electron hole and pairs. For every electron you see here, there is a corresponding hole here. Okay, so this process is called electron hole pairing process, EHP shortly. And here you need to apply the photon, the energy of photon should be such that, so let us call this energy of photon as h into mu, that should be greater than the band gap energy. Then only this electron will be able to move from valence band to the conduction band, otherwise it cannot move. You need to supply the energy via the photons, which is greater than, this is the photonic energy, that should be greater than the band gap energy, so that electrons keep moving into the conduction band from the valence band here. Now, if you look at this same phenomena, within this the phenomena, how exactly electron hole pairing processes are created, that we explained through the this particular energy band diagram. Now, you can see here there is an N-type semiconductor and there is a P-type semiconductor. In both the type of semiconductor, when the photons interact with this either N or P-type semiconductor, it is going to form something called electron hole pairing process, whether it is N-type or P-type here. Now, question here whether this can be create any current here. If you analyze this interaction, will it create any substantial amount of current here? Just think about it, whether it is a P-type or N-type. Just by electron hole pairing process, do we get any significant amount of current from these two type of semiconductors? The answer is no, because the electron hole pairing process, it will be equal in number. For every electron whatever you are seeing here, there will be corresponding holes here. This cannot create any significant amount of current here. In order to get a substantial amount of current, you need to make these photons to interact with the p-n junction instead of making to interact with either N-type semiconductor or P-type semiconductor. It does not create any substantial amount of current here. Okay, more and more electron hole pairs are created within this the entire material, either it is N-type or P-type. Okay. So, that is the process which is going to happen here. So, optoelectronics basically it is an interaction of photons with the semiconductor, that is the basic definition. And look at photon is smallest discrete amount or quantum of electromagnetic radiation. Some people in if you look at Wikipedia, you get different definitions for the photon. Few definitions I have mentioned here. It is a form of electromagnetic radiation. Photon is nothing but it is a basic unit of light. In order to represent a light, we need to have some unit. It is represented in terms of the photon. Photons will be always in motion, they keep moving similar to electron. They are always in motion. The rate at which the photons will travel is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second is the speed. Now, let us look into specifically what is going to happen within the semiconductor when photons interact. So, these type of devices which are sensitive to the photons are called as optoelectronic devices. Generally, the semiconductor based optoelectronic devices can detect electrons, can detect photons, not electrons, can detect photons, it can emit photons, and it can even convert one form of energy to other form of energy. Let us discuss specific to each one of this, where we can see the detection of the photons, and in which kind of devices we can see emission of the photons, and what are the different devices that can convert one form of energy to other forms of energy. Those things we can cluster into this the three category. Now, let us look at the optoelectronic devices that can detect the photons. So, those are called as the optical detectors. Probably you might have seen in fiber optic communication. Suppose if you have a broadband network to your home, you might be getting internet connection through this fiber optics. There you can see that via the fiber optic, just the blinking, the photons will be carrying the information. So, whether it is on or off, that is detected by the whether light is on and off. So, it is transferred by via the photons here. Okay, if you look at the fiber optic cable. So, that means this optical detectors can sense the photons and can easily judge whether it has received 0 or 1, okay, based on light blinking. Okay. So, these are broadly used in telecommunication applications, in broadband applications, okay, especially in fiber optic communication. So, other applications like optoelectronic devices that can emit photons. So, some applications are there where it can emit photons, like light emitting diodes, they emit photons, they emit light. Okay. The materials such as gallium arsenide, we have seen compound semiconductors, they basically have large band gap and it can emit light. So, those comes under the incoherent source. There is a laser, another special device which is example for coherent source. Laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So, this is let us write it in capital letter LASER. This is the laser. So, laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. What do you mean by this laser? Okay. If you observe a laser beam, it is basically directional, unidirectional. I can say this is highly directional. Okay, what do we mean by highly directional? Highly directional. Laser beam is highly directional, and it's monochrome, single wavelength, CHROME, monochrome, and it is coherent light. Okay. It has got only one frequency of light. Okay. So, these are the different properties of laser. So, laser is basically highly, it is the beam, if you observe, it is going to be narrow. So, therefore, it is highly directional kind of the laser beam. You can see it is monochromatic and it is based on coherent source. So, these are certain properties of the laser. So, we will study these laser in optoelectronic materials. There you will study more details of this. But here we are discussing, since the optoelectronic devices that emit photons. So, laser falls under this category, into this category, emission of photons. There are optoelectronic devices which convert one form of energy to other form of energy, particularly optical energy into the electrical energy. The devices such as a photodiode converts optical energy into solar energy. Probably might have seen rooftop solar panels, so which converts again light energy into the optical energy, light energy into electrical energy. So this solar cells, if you club together, it can generate the huge electrical power. So we will see that how exactly solar cell functions, and this is an example for renewable energy. So light keep falling on the earth's surface, and that can be used to convert into electrical power. Okay, so this is much better than the conventional power what we have. So we can make use of the solar energy to into electrical energy by using solar cells. Several cells can be the connected in matrix form, and a huge amount of electrical power can be generated. Okay, so that's an example of the optoelectronic device that converts one form of energy to other form of energy. Now let us look into specific to the photodiode. A photodiode is a semiconductor device that converts light into electrical current. The current generated when photons are absorbed in the photodiode. The symbolic representation of photodiode looks like this. We will have a same diode symbol. There is no change in the symbol, photodiode symbol. So, but only thing is we will show with an arrow mark like this. It looks like LED only. Okay, so even LED also we represent like this. So photodiode. So it is a two terminal device which converts light into the electrical current here. So if you make a closed circuit, current flows through this. The change in conductivity in these devices is proportional to the optical generation rate. So we will discuss what do we mean by optical generation rate. The photodiodes are two terminal device designed to respond to the photon absorption. So photons get absorbed by this kind of the devices, and it converts into electrical energy. Important properties of the photodiodes are they are highly sensitive. So sensitivity is another property of the optoelectronic device, and response speed, how much time it takes to respond whenever you make the photons to fall on the device. That's called response speed. It's a response time in fact. So that's another property of photodiode. Photodiodes, we will investigate the response of p-n junctions to optical generation of electron hole pairs, that we will study here. Solar cells are important, it's an use of semiconductor junctions. Specific, let us look into the current and voltage in an illuminated junction. Here I would like to take a few examples to explain you what do we mean by the how exactly the electron hole pairs keep moving. Okay, look at this diagram. I would like to make it full screen here. Okay. So if you observe this p-n junction, so this is an p plus n type of diode. So let us see here what kind of diode it is. This side is p type, and p plus here. Let me add superscript here plus, and this is n side here. Okay, why it is p plus n? You can see from the depletion region. So based on depletion region, you can say this is a p plus n junction, because this is the middle of a depletion region. See the depth on n side, it is large, and see on the p side it is narrow. So depletion width, you can see that it is more extended towards n side. So therefore it is p plus n type the diode. And here let us see how the charge carriers move whenever there is a photons interacted with this, and there is a strong electric field which is acting from n to p. So you can see here there is an electric field which is from n type semiconductor to p plus side, it is acting here. Okay. Okay, with that let us see the next diagram. So here I am going to segment this entire p-n junction into three parts here. One of them is the depletion region, you can see this part, and second one is neutral n region, and this is neutral p region. Let us make this as like this. This is first, and this region as second, and this is a third region. So in all these three regions, let us see how this semiconductor behaves whenever the photons are made to fall on this. Okay. So three segments, three way we have divided here. Now let us take the next diagram here. You can see in this diagram the electron hole, how exactly it moves. Okay. Look at here now. Let us assume that as I told you already, we have three segments here. Okay. So one of them is depletion region. Okay. So So, this is first segment is here. So, this is depletion region, neutral P, let us call this as second here. Okay, so, this is second. So, this is the first is depletion region and this is going to be the third. Okay. Let me make it little narrow so that you can see here. Okay. Now, we have clustered it, divided this entire p-n junction into the 3 parts, and also we said that there is a strong electric field acting from N to P side. So, this is a type of diode is N and this is going to be the P plus. Now, see here in the depletion region, if you make the photons to fall on this into the depletion region, let me show here there is a photon here. Okay, there is a photonic energy here. Now, what happens when the photons fall into onto the depletion region? So, now it creates electron hole pair, as you are seeing here the electron hole pairs are present here. Okay. This H plus represents hole and E minus represents electron here. This is an electron here. So, this is a hole here. So, this electron hole pair now, because of the electric field, in which direction they move. So, basically the holes here get attract, the electric field is so strong. This is strong electric field, strong electric field. The field is so strong that it will push the holes into the P region. So, holes will get drift, the process is drift here into the P region and electron get drift into the N region here. So, this is electron and this is hole. Okay. So, this depletion region, if you made the photons to fall on this, it creates an electron hole pair. Now, the strong electric field which exists in the depletion region between this depletion width is so strong that it pushes the holes into the P region and electron into the N region here. The field is so strong that it will sweep this hole into the P region and the electron into the N region here. This is what it happens, whenever there is electron hole pair created due to the interaction of photons in the depletion region here. Okay. Any questions about this? Okay. Here one observation what you need to make here is, so this though we have showed here one electron, one hole here, but in fact in real depletion region you will see plenty of electron hole pairs like this. So, there is electron and there is a hole. So, all these holes which are coming here, the electric field will push that into the P region, P plus region, and electrons are pushed into this region here. So, this is what it happens in the depletion region whenever the charge carriers are present in the depletion region here. Now, here you need to know what is the generation rate, at what rate the electron hole pairs are generated. That depends on how many photons are interacting with this depletion region. If the number of photons interacting with this depletion region increases, then electron hole pairs generated in the depletion region also increases. If the photons, number of photons increases, that increases the electron hole pair. Okay. And when electron hole pair increases, you can see that more number of holes are pushed into the P region here. So, more holes you can see in the P region here and more electrons you can see moving into the N region here. That means, the holes are moving towards P plus side and electrons are moving to the N side here. So, now can you just guess what is the direction of the current in this case? What is the direction of current? It is from N to P, because it is in the same direction as the field exists here. So, therefore, current direction is from N to P. So, current flows like this. So, it flows from N to P like this. Okay. So, just now we have analyzed only region 1, that is the depletion region. Similar thing will happen even in the neutral N region and neutral P region here. Okay. So, that is discussed in the next diagrams, you can see there. I will just open up the next diagram. Next diagram, what it tells you, you can see here next diagram tells you the field is so strong that it is moving, it is drifting this hole into the P region and electron into the N region here. So, this is what you see in the because of the strong electric field. When the photons create this electron hole pair, the field moves the holes to the P region, electrons to the N region here. Now, let us see other two regions, specific regions, neutral N and neutral P region. What is going to happen in these regions? Let us make an observation here. Okay. So, look at this region here, all three things, three regions are simultaneously given here. Okay, so, let us look at here, this is region 1, we already analyzed this region, this is region 1, and this region is 2, and this is region 3. If you make the photons to interact in all three regions the simultaneously, equal amount of the photons, if they are interacting with this semiconductor, let us say this equal amount of photons are interacting with this n neutral n material. Okay. So, we have already seen this depletion region, what is going to happen, it creates electron hole pairs and field moves to the p and n region respectively. And now, we will analyze this region 2 and region 3 here. Now, let us see here. Here one more parameter which we need to consider is LP. What do we mean by LP? What is LP? And here we have Ln here, and we have an LP. Have you come across this term earlier, LP and Ln? L stands for length, and what does this P stands for here? So, this is nothing but have you come across this diffusion length? Diffusion length, since P is a subscript here, this is for holes, diffusion length for holes. Similarly, Ln stands for, it is a diffusion length for electrons. Why Ln is taken along the P side? Why Ln is taken along this P side? Any idea? Always see Ln will be on the P region. This is a type of diode is P plus N diode. This is under reverse bias. So, we need to connect this to the negative terminal of battery, and N region should be connected to the positive terminal of a battery. Okay. And you can see the photons are made to fall here. Now, we can see that LP, diffusion length for holes. The meaning of this, the definition for this is an average distance hole travels before it recombine with the electrons. So, in this region we know that majority charge carriers are electrons, and since we have reverse biased it, okay, so the minority carriers here what you are seeing, okay, they keep moving to the from P side to the N side because of electric field. Okay, so you can see here this holes when they are moving here. Okay, holes they will take they will travel some distance here before they get recombined. Holes cannot travel to the edge of this the junction, the PN junction. It can travel only some distance here. So, that is why this is average distance here. So, the definition of this is average distance hole can diffuse or travel before it recombine with the electrons here. That is the definition of LP. On P side we have average distance an electron can travel before it can recombine with the holes here, that is Ln here. So, Ln and LP are very important to understand the interaction of these photons here. Now, see here we have already discussed here whenever electron hole pair here, this electron hole pair we have discussed here, the field what it is going to do, it pushes electron to the N side, hole to the P side, if at all any electron hole pairs are formed here due to the interaction of photons. Now, here if photons interact with this, suppose if electron hole pairs are formed in the neutral N region, now what is going to happen here? So, due to the concentration gradient, what happens here, holes are very few in number, the holes are large in number, definitely holes will diffuse to the near to the junction. Okay. Holes keep moving to the junction, and here onwards you can see that there is suppose the hole comes here, H plus comes here, and now the field is so strong that till here it is a diffusion process, but beyond that since field is so strong because there is a capacitance effect here, this hole will be pushed into the P plus region here. I hope you understand this mechanism here. Okay, electron will be retained here itself, but electron concentration is more, but hole concentration you can see it is more here and less here. So, due to the concentration gradient, the diffusion process will moves the hole from neutral n region to the depletion region. From here onwards, the drift, the mechanism will push us holes from this edge of the depletion region to the p region here. So, this is what it happens for the electron hole pair created due to the interaction of photons in the neutral n region. If you observe here in the neutral p region, even here also same mechanism whatever we explained for the n region, it occurs here. The interaction of photons in the neutral p region, if it creates an electron hole pair here, this is what you are seeing here, electron hole pair, and again within this diffusion length these electron hole pairs are created. The here in the deeper in the neutral the p region, even though if electron hole pairs are created, the entire material remains as a neutral only, because there is no sufficient number of electron hole pairs here, it remains as a neutral. Whereas here within this the diffusion length ln, so if electron hole pairs are created, now the concentration gradient, what happens here is that as electrons are less in number on the p side. So, this diffusion process, a change in the concentration gradient will pushes this electron to the edge of a depletion region here. So, when electron comes here, the field will take care. The field is so strong that it will drift the electron from p side to n side. So, that means in a nutshell what we can say is whether electron hole pairs are formed in the depletion region or neutral n region or neutral p region, all holes will be collected on the p region, p side, and electrons will be collected in the n region here. In general, the current due to the photons will flow from n side to p side. So, this is the direction of current here. Okay. Because of the electrons will be collected on the n side, holes will be collected on the p side, and the field is from n to p, and current flow is also from n to p. So, therefore, let us call this current as IOP, optical generation. Now, this IOP depends on three parts here. It depends on electron hole pair in the depletion region, it depends on electron hole pair in the neutral n and p regions. So, again electron hole pair in turn depends upon the number of photons injected here. More photons if it is made to fall on to this the material, more number of electron hole pairs are created, and the more the holes will get collect on the neutral p region, and more number of electrons get collect on the neutral n region here, and this process repeats here. So, it creates a current here, and that current is called as optical current IOP. Okay. So, any questions before we complete this the process of this is the fundamental of any optoelectronic device what we are discussing here. Even whether you take the photodetector or solar cell or any optoelectronic the devices, the fundamental operation this remains same. Okay. So, this is applicable for all the photoelectronic devices here. Okay. So, with that let me move on to the our material. So, what we are trying to say in that okay. So, I will switch to the this is what we have illustrated. This is material what we covered is almost same. You can see here this is what we said about this current and voltage in a illuminated junction. So, you can see here this is the p-n junction under reverse bias. So, you can see electrons are moving from p side to n side. This is holes are moving from n side to p side within the depletion region, and you can see generation of current is flows from n to p. W is the space charge region, and you can see as we summarized in the previous pictures, electrons are collected in the n region, holes are collected in the p region. So, the minority carriers generated thermally within the diffusion length of each side junction diffused to the depletion region and are swept to the other side of the electric field by the electric field here. The electric field is so strong that it pushes electrons to the n. So, if any electrons are here, it pushes into the n side. This is electron, and holes are pushed into the p side here. So, electron hole pairs are created when we apply H into mu greater than the forbidden energy gap. Okay. Now, here let us see here how can we use this. Okay. So, for to keep the entire circuit under reverse bias, we need to apply here connect here reverse bias here, but for solar cells we need not connect here, because this itself will the junction itself will power the external circuit. but for remaining devices like photo detectors, we need to have connected this photo diode under reverse bias condition here. Okay. And let us have a look at this terminologies here. So, GOP we already told it is a generation rate, optical generation rate. So, G stands for generation, OP stands for optical generation rate, and these are the three things which participate in the current flow. ALP into GOP. ALP gives you the A stands for area of cross section, LP is the diffusion length for holes. So, on N side the holes generated is given by this mathematical equation, A times LP times GOP. Extra electrons generated on the P side is given by A times Ln times GOP. Okay. So, GOP remains constant in all these things, it depends on the amount of the photons interacting. So, in the depletion region, this A into W gives you the volume, here A into Ln gives you the volume. So, volume times the optical generation rate, that gives you the extra electrons generated on N side and P side respectively. So, A W into GOP is the electron carriers generated, it is not only electron here, generally we will indicate here carriers generated within the depletion region. And net current flowing from N to P is given by this, it is just a sum of all these things, okay, and multiplied with the Q here, Q times so you can see here, if you take A into GOP as a common factor, and if you multiply that with the Q and remaining terms, you can see that LP, Ln, W. Within the depletion region we have three segments, one for LP towards N side, Ln is towards P side, and W is the depletion region. So, equation 1 gives you the optical current. So, optical current generation depends on the area of cross section of neutral N, P or depletion region, optical generation rate, it also depends on the diffusion length for holes, electrons and the width of the depletion region. So, this is the final equation, and now to get the total current flowing in the PN junction, you need to consider both forward current and as well as reverse current here. So, current the diode current, this is diode current equation, I is equal to this is the current equation, I naught into e to the power of QV by KT minus 1. So, this equation can be modified with this currently with the equation what we have shown IOP. So, you need to subtract that from IOP, because the current here flows from P to N and this IOP flows from N to P. Therefore, you can observe the signs here, one is positive, other one is going to be negative here. So, the total current, this is a diode current. So, equation diode current equation, I naught is a thermally generated current or reverse saturation current, and IOP is the optical current, this we have shown from equation 1, above equation you can see here. Okay. So, the total current flowing in the optoelectronic device is given by this equation, okay, the entire equation. Okay. The current defined by equation 2 flows from N to P, this IOP is flowing from N to P. So, IOP can be calculated by just multiplying optical generation rate with generation volume. Okay. Generation volume we already told, it is a product of area of cross section into the diffusion length or area of cross section into the width, okay, W depletion width, and that multiplied with the Q gives you the total optical current here. Okay. Suppose in case if you take up just a N block of semiconductor material with, let us assume that this is a distance LP, average distance where the holes will get diffused. So, the holes generated, optically generated holes, this is delta POP, P stands for holes, optically generated holes is given by this, depends on the tau P, it is a lifetime of holes, and that is multiplied with the GOP. So, optical generation rate. Okay. And here we used I naught equation here, I naught is nothing but it is reverse saturation current, that is given by this term here. Okay. So, this is in fact total current I, which is nothing but this is I naught, and that is multiplied with this exponential term minus IOP, optical current here. So, this entire equation is diode current. So, this equation let me underline in blue. So, this is diode current equation. So, this is optical current here. optical current here. Okay. Okay. So, total current in the optoelectronic device is given by this equation. Okay. Any questions so far? That is what it is summarized here. You can see that rewritten here with equation 1, equation 2 is total 2 currents here. Any questions here? If you do not have question, I think the next few materials has been covered in this material. Let us take up this. This is what already we explained. Okay, I will just move directly to this final equation. So, total reverse current due to the elimination is given by this. Just now I told you this is I thermally generated current into this e to the power of q v by k t minus 1 minus I o p. Now, you can see that this is the current flowing from P to N and optical current flows from N to P. Now, you can substitute for this I naught or I T H thermally generated current. So, this is the equation just now we have shown. Okay, you can substitute that q a L p by tau p. So, tau p stands for lifetime of holes, L p stands for diffusion length for holes, multiply plus ln by tau n into N p into this diode exponential term will remain same. This total is diode current equation. This is the optical current here, q times A times GOP times LP plus Ln plus into plus W. Now, let us derive equation for this. We will continue with this. Optically generated current, as we have seen, which is q A times GOP times LP plus Ln plus W. These all things are explained here now. Now, we need to calculate here two different things here. One is going to be the short circuit and other one is the open circuit voltage. And let us see here, if you look at this characteristics of a illuminated junction, this is the voltage versus current characteristics of illuminated junction. Just observe here in this characteristics. So, this is the forward characteristics what you are seeing. Okay, so, y axis is current axis and x axis is voltage, and in with a junction in forward bias behaves like this, exponential current flows in the forward bias. So, this is the forward current flowing, and reverse direction you can see here when the voltage is made negative. So, there is a reverse saturation current when there is no photons illuminated. So, this is under a dark condition. Okay, there are no photons, then reverse saturation current flows here. So, this is the reverse saturation current. In our mathematical equations, we have taken that as ITH, and sometimes we call even I naught also, or you can also denote this as I sat, reverse saturation current, current that is flowing in the reverse bias. So, this is a reverse bias current. Current that flows here is forward bias current. So, this is forward bias. So, this is reverse bias. Now, see here under reverse bias without this is a PN junction. Let me make a PN junction in a reverse bias. Let us assume P plus N, and we have a resistor here. We connect to the reverse bias like this. Now, you can see here. Now, let us assume that this is a depletion region, since it is a P plus N diode. Now, photons are illuminated uniformly on the entire surface. Okay, now, what happens here? It is reverse bias. Let us say this is the voltage V under reverse bias, this is the resistance R now. Now, you can see because of photons are illuminated on this entire PN junction. If you do not illuminate this, this is these are photons. Without this light illumination, you can see that it exhibits this characteristics. Now, when the photons are the illuminated on this entire PN junction surface, on the entire junction PN junction, so you can see this it may lead to the this current here G1. G1 is nothing but generation rate. So, this much amount, this height will tell, this distance will tell you the current. Okay, this much amount of current flows here, because now photons are interacting. Further, if you increase the number of the photons interacting with this a PN junction, so now again further the generation rate keeps increasing. An electron hole pairs or more and more electron hole pairs are generated. If EH photons, number of photons interacting with this junction increases, EHP increases, and therefore the optical current also increases. The main reason for increasing this is optical generation. This also increases. This is GOP. So GOP is nothing but here we have denoted as G1, G2, G3. G1 is small, G2 is larger, G1 is larger than GOP, G2 is larger than G1, G3 is larger than G2. So G3 is the highest. That means more large number of photons are interacting. So large, you can see electron hole pairs here. Okay, and more current will flow from N to P. So this is the direction of current flow due to the photons interacting with this PN junction. Okay, I hope you understand this IV characteristics. This is important to even to understand other optoelectronic devices. So this is the IV characteristics, and you can observe here these curves are not going to origin here. They are hitting this y-axis, negative y-axis. You can see it is intersecting at this point. G2 is intersecting at this point. G3 is intersecting at this point. That means even if you make voltage as 0, there is some current exists here. How do you make voltage as 0? Suppose if I have a photodiode like this, okay, how do you make voltage across this as 0? So you need to make voltage, when you make voltage as 0, that means you need to do short circuit across this. If you short circuit this, that means I am making voltage 0, but there exists a current here. Current exists here because there are photons which are interacting with the junction. Okay. So that means you are not using this power supply, you are just short circuited this, but current flows from, okay, so direction of current is reverse, it should flow from N to P. So you can see here this is N to P. Okay, it flows from N to P. This is the direction of current here. Now here these points can be identified by just short circuiting this. Okay, so you will get here the current called as short circuit current here. This is one possible combination. Now by short circuiting this, you can estimate the current with voltage as 0, and if you extend this curves here, these curves will go like this. It will meet this positive x axis like this. You can see here like this. It can meet like this. Okay. That means this is the quadrant which we are discussing here is the fourth quadrant here. A reverse bias usually will be in the third quadrant. Forward bias will be in the first quadrant, and the second quadrant is of no significance. We are going to ignore the second quadrant. So here the third and fourth quadrant are very important for optoelectronic devices. Okay. Third quadrant, you can see that here as you increase the photons, more and more current is flowing here. Okay. If you have one more curve here, due to the large amount of the photons, you may get another generation rate as G4. Okay. Now you can see that I already told you how to identify these intersection points here. In this circuit, what you need to make is voltage should be made 0 and estimate the current flow here. That gives you, say for example, if generation rate is 1 G1, it may give you ISC1. Let us call this point as ISC1. If generation rate is G2, it may give you ISC2. So you can label this intersection as ISC2. Let us call this as ISC1. This is ISC2. Like this, you can estimate short circuit current 3 like this. Okay. Now I told you how to identify this point, but how do you identify this intersection with the x axis? So here we made voltage as 0 and you have some current here, but in this case you have to make current as 0. So you have to make I as 0. How do you make current 0 in the circuit like this, in circuit of this type? You have to make it open circuit, correct, exactly correct. You have to make open circuit. So take a photodiode, just open circuit across this. This is open circuit. The voltage that exists here is open circuit voltage VOC. And now you need to estimate here what is the open circuit voltage here. Okay. Open circuit voltage here by making current as 0. Current is not flowing here, the current is going to be 0 in this. IH is equal to 0, IOP is 0 in this case. Okay. So, there exists a voltage here, voltage across this due to the photons interacting with this PN junction. So, this gives me open circuit voltage VOC. Okay. Understand these two things? So, more details has been discussed here to make you further understanding much better way. Look at here now. Okay. I hope you understand the mechanism of short circuit and open circuit. So, to find out these extreme ends of this the curves, we are just short circuiting here to identify the current levels by making voltage as 0, and to identify the intersection with the x axis, we are making current as 0, that gives me open circuit voltage. Now, let us work out one by one here. We know that total current flowing in the device, okay, PN junction is this is optical current and this is the diode current. And now, we are to calculate the short circuit, you need to make voltage as 0. Look at this. Okay, if you make voltage as 0, you are calculating short circuit current. So, when you make voltage as 0, you can see here this is the this V you can substitute as 0. If you substitute V as 0 here, this entire term will get eliminated, this becomes 1, 1 minus 1 becomes 0, and you are left out with only this part. The only current that flows when you make open circuit across the PN junction is optical current here. That is going to be opposite in direction because it flows from N to P. Understood? So, this is the optical current under open circuit, under short circuit which is flowing here. So, when you short circuit this by making voltage as 0, so this is the current that is flowing here. Now, other condition is when you want to open circuit it. So, once you open circuit it, the current will be 0. You can see here the same equation I have considered here. So, once you make this current as 0, you can see that this resulting equation we have written here, this is diode current equation and optical current equation. Now, you can further simplify by applying some the mathematical techniques here. So, transfer this to other side, I Thevenin, this IOP by I Thevenin is equal to this exponential term, and now you can see here this minus 1 is transferred to other side. So, e to the power of q v by k t is equal to IOP by I Thevenin plus 1. Now, we know that applied voltage is nothing but open circuit voltage. Instead of V, we can substitute as VOC here. What will happen to this equation once you substitute? And also you have to take logarithm, natural logarithm on both the sides. To eliminate this e term here, in this step you should take ln on ln on both sides. Okay, both sides you should take. Ln means it is log to the base e. If you take that, this QV V becomes VOC by KT, into another side we will have a ln of IOP by I Thevenin plus 1, and we want only VOC on the left hand side, that is the open circuit voltage. So, VOC is equal to KT by Q times ln of IOP by I Thevenin plus 1. And now we can further simplify this, you can substitute for IOP. IOP is already known. Okay, what is IOP? The total current, this IOP, which is nothing but this current. Okay, this is IOP, equation 1. So, you can substitute from that equation 1 here. Okay, so, GOP times LP plus LN. So, few terms get cancelled, Q there and the denominator here can be cancelled here. So, you can see that simplified equation is given here. So, LP by tau P Pn plus this is I Thevenin, this is nothing but the reverse saturation current, Ln by tau n into Np into GOP plus 1 here. Now, if you can consider symmetrical condition, symmetrical junction, not symmetrical condition, symmetrical junction. So, Pn will be equal to Np and tau P lifetime for holes will be equal to lifetime for electrons. We can rewrite that equation and that becomes equal to VOC is equal to KT by Q ln of. So, most of the terms will get cancelled here. So, it becomes GOP by GTH. GTH is called the thermal generation rate. So, GOP is much greater than GTH for this particular condition here. So, that is what the open circuit voltage, final expression for the open circuit condition here. Okay. and this is the energy band diagram for this normal p-n junction under equilibrium condition. So, there the this height will tell you the barrier potential, but now look at here due to the optoelectronic device, in optoelectronic device. So, this q times VOC. So, this is the the split up in the Fermi level, this the amount of voltage that splits this Fermi level. Fn stands for Fermi level on n side, Fp stands for Fermi level on the p side here. Okay. So, this is the energy band diagram for the optoelectronic device here. Okay. Any questions so far? This derivation I will cover in the other notes, other material also. Meanwhile, if you have any questions here, you can ask me with reference to this. We will take up in more detail in the next class about this derivation, open circuit and short circuit current and open circuit voltage. Okay. In this material I have covered it with more detail, that is what you are seeing here. Okay. So, this is I naught equation, and you can see here I naught or I can be written in different way using this LP formula. Okay. This is basic equation which you need to remember. You can see this is the basic equation for reverse saturation current. Okay. And this is equation 1 represents the total current flowing in the illuminated p-n junction, and here I naught is given by this expression. This is I naught given by this equation. Okay. This I naught can be simplified further by substituting all these relations. You can see here Pp is equal to Na, Nn is equal to Nd, Np is equal to Ni square by Na, Pn is equal to Ni square by Nd. If you substitute all these things, you can see here. So, in place of dP by Lp, we have kept as it is here dP by Lp. In place of Pn, you can see here we have substituted this Ni square by Nd. So, this you can see here Ni square by Nd. Similarly, second term you can see dN by Ln is kept as it is, this dN by Ln. I will put a square bracket here, and within that I will put a small brackets. There is a plus sign here, and here we have Np, we have Ni square by Na. So, you can see here this is Ni square by Na, and here finally we have a square bracket here. Okay. And in both the terms you can take out Ni square as a common factor, Ni square here and Ni square here you can take out as a common factor, and what you have left out is dP by Lp into Nd plus dN by Ln into Na. Okay. Now, you can substitute even for this dP. Okay. So, dP is here, dP is nothing but equal to Lp square by tau p. So, dP is equal to Lp square by tau p here. So, this dP, this can be substituted from this equation, dP is equal to Lp square by tau p, because we know that Lp square is equal to dP into tau p, that can be simplified here. So, if you substitute that dP as Lp square by tau p, so 1 Lp here cancels with this. Similarly, here also this dN can be substituted as Ln square by tau n. So, this is tau n, this is tau n. So, 1 Ln here cancel with this, and you have left out with in the numerator Lp, which is here, and in the denominator we have this tau p goes to denominator, and Nd will be kept as it is, and second term you can see Ln by tau n into Na. So, this is the I naught, which is reverse saturation current. Remember where we have come from. So, this is what equation I have simplified here. Okay. So, this is the equation. So, this is the reverse saturation current equation. Okay. And this equation can be written in alternative way also, which I have showed here, alternative way. Okay. So, you can see here this is same equation can be written in alternative way by substituting dP as Lp square by tau p straight away, and dP as Lp square by tau p substitute, if you will get it this equation. So, I naught is equal to q times A Lp by tau p into Pn plus Ln by tau n into Np, by substituting this dP as this and dN as this. So, this is the final equation here for reverse saturation current. Okay. So, same equation is written here under this. So, if you look at this equation 1, this I naught we have substituted here, the same equation you can see here. Okay. And the optical current remains same here. Okay. So, with this I will stop here. Next class I will continue with this derivation of open circuit voltage, and this is the condition short circuit, this is the short circuit condition, because these two things are very important to understand solar cells. Okay, solar cells. Okay, so if you understand VOC and IOC, ISC, so maximum power solar cell can generate is this. Okay, these are the extreme conditions, boundary conditions for solar cells. Okay, so if you are involved in any solar cell design, you must be good in this equation, in understanding this equation. So we'll explain that by with going through this each of these derivation. Look at here, the same thing what I have explained to you just now. These boundary conditions are very important, because in the fourth quadrant, so the solar cell operates. Okay, we'll discuss each and every quadrant in the next class. Okay, so you have better understand optoelectronic devices. With that, I will stop it here. And do you have any questions related to today's class? I hope most of the mathematical parts were covered here, but examination derivation is not important, but you need to go through the final results here. Example, you see, when we say optical current, you should be in a position to write this equation, equation 1, and this subterms also you should be in a position, alternative versions of this you should be in a position to write it. This is one version is here, and alternative other versions we have showed here, and some manipulations also we have shown for this reverse saturation current. So keep try to understand these all these equations. Okay. With that, I will stop here. We will continue with the next class with this short circuit current and open circuit voltage. Okay.